Hey everybody, Kelly Engineering here, and welcome to episode 2 of the Silence Gems Mod Spotlight. In this episode, it's going to be rather short because we're just going to go over the building blocks offered by the mod and items that are offered by the mod. Exception of things that require the Chaos mechanic, so like this Chaos Aquamarine, Chaos Runes, things like that. Those need to be separate episodes because they're pretty lengthy and they have completely changed from how they were in previous versions rather. So, yeah, let's get to it. Every single gem that is offered by the mod has its own brick, block, glass, and lamp variant. The lamps, whenever they're lit, and these are lit variants of the blocks, have that JEI problem where they don't, or correction, the Wayla problem, where they don't actually show up in Wayla. But the unlit variants do not have that problem. And that's perfectly fine. But like I said, every single one has a variant, and man, they have a very consistent gradient. Very impressed. In order to make the blocks are really easy. Go over here to a crafting table. All you need is 9. Here we go. 9 gems, and you get the block, just like any other item in Minecraft. If you want the bricks and the glass, however, you need 4 shards, and the shards are broken down by the gem itself. But 5 pieces of glass or brick, and you'll get 5 of the gem variant of glass. Same here with the brick. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's the ruby bricks. And there's how you make more shards. And yeah, it really is that simple. In order to make the lamps, however, you are going to need a full gem, 4 redstone, and 4 glowstone. And bam, you have the ruby lamp. So the lamp by itself is not lit up. You have to supply it with a redstone signal. And there you go. You have a lit variant. Alternatively, what you can do is you can have it always lit by just combining the redstone torch into, there we go, into the crafting table, and bam, it is an always lit ruby lamp. By default, they offer you a same level as a torch. It is a 14 block light. There we go. So yeah, 14 light level per lit block, and yeah, they look good. There are a lot of opportunities for them. But those are the building blocks for pretty much everything. There are blocks associated. Let's go here. Using 9 ender crystals, you can make blocks of ender crystal. Using 9 chaos. Using 9 chaos crystals, you can get the blocks of chaos crystals. And even though this is part of the chaos mechanic and I can't make one legitimately right now, these blocks of enriched chaos, same thing. Enriched chaos crystals. That needs token enchanting and creates chaos. So yeah, we're not going to worry about those right now, but they are a block that you can create. Last episode I went over the fluffy puff plants that were growing in the world. So I planted down that 1 seed, and it has now spread. Well, it doesn't spread by itself. As it grows, you can just break it. It'll give you some extra seeds. So when you broke them in the wild, all it gave you was 1 seed. When you break them as a crop, they give you around 3 to 4 fluffy puffs and 2 or 3 seeds every time that you break one. And these fluffy puffs, here we go. And these fluffy puffs are useful for, especially if you want to make a lot of arrows. The fluffy puffs can make feathers, make wool for you, string, and the fluffy fabric. Fluffy fabric, being part of Silence Gems, is the next thing that we want to worry about. So I'm going to continue breaking these and head over to my crafting table. There we go. I just got done planting everything, and before I go over what the fluffy puffs are really used for in mod, since this is 1.15, the composter exists, and you can use the seeds in the composter because you're inevitably going to have a lot extras, and it's better than just dumping them. So they operate in it has a 30% chance of creating a new level in the composter. Come on, buddy. So just keep that in mind whenever you're growing a lot of fluffy puffs, and if we're not talking about silent gear. So yeah, just keep that in mind that you can throw the seeds into the compactor when you inevitably have more. But the fluffy puffs themselves, in a 4x4, will make fluffy fabric for you. I'm going to make as much fluffy fabric as possible, because the fluffy fabric becomes a white fluffy block. the white fluffy block. Oh. Okay, I just crashed out. Anyway, as I was saying, you put 4 of the fluffy fabric together, and you get a white fluffy block. So the white fluffy block, I'm gonna place all of them right here. They kind of act like a kind of like wool, but better. I'm gonna go into creative mode, and I'm just gonna fall on top of them. But first, so I actually do damage to myself. Here we go. And drop. You see that it severely limits how much fall damage you take whenever you land. It's not like wool; you don't bounce a little bit. However, they do save you from fall damage. So now I'm going to actually break these up, just to go over that these can be colored as well. And it's not like it's not like regular wool where it's just 1-to-1 transfer. All you need is 8 of the fluffy blocks, and then 1 piece of dye, and you will get 8 of the colored fluffy blocks. And they are a lot richer than their wool variant. I'm going to give myself a piece of red wool. Here we go. And they don't have as much of the texture, so I kind of feel like they're more versatile for building, because you don't have to worry about the texture of the wool. I mean, it's not like if you want something red, you want this texture everywhere. So yeah, that's a variant of fluffy block that you can use as well. The next thing that we're going to be going over is the food item. So I'm not ready to make the potato on a stick yet, but with sugar cookies, so sugar cookies take the place of what coffee used to do in older versions. I was waiting quite a while for coffee, and there is no recipe for them. But with the sugar cookies, whenever you eat them, they don't give you very much hunger back. However, they do increase your speed. So you're now under the effects of speed and haste whenever you eat a sugar cookie. And doesn't last very long, but it should be enough to get you out of a dicey situation. But that is sugar cookies. And yeah, they take the place of what coffee used to do. The way that you get coffee on an older version, I'm just going to go into creative. The way that you used to get coffee is if you found a rabbit anywhere, and I've spawned in a bunch of rabbits as well as fenced them in. If you used to have rabbits, rabbits had a chance of just randomly producing a cup of coffee. And when you drank that, it gave you speed. Yeah, it gave you speed 2. And it was amazing. It doesn't seem like it's been implemented yet, so hopefully in a later video I can go over that. But after the sugar cookie, you have the secret donuts, and the secret donuts are just wheat and a red mushroom, and you get your secret donut. You feel sad and empty. I should go back into survival, and you see that, oh wow, that gave me wither and water breathing. So it seems like it's going to give you a random, whenever you actually have hunger on you, it seems like it's going to give you a random set of enchantments. So, ugh. But that is a secret donut. It's pretty mid-tier, but the stews are the important stuff. So I need to make myself some bowls. So with the bowls, some carrots, any type of meat, and potatoes, you get uncooked meaty stew. I'm going to make 11 of those and throw them immediately. You can eat them as is, but like it recommends, you may want to heat them up first. So I'm going to heat up one of these stews, and I'm not going to bother making the fishy stew. It's essentially the same. You just need some kelp, brown mushrooms, and cod. And also, when it's cooked, it doesn't give you as much. Yeah, it recovers 1 less haunch and 8 less saturation than the meaty stew. So yeah, the meaty stew is kind of a no-brainer here. But when you eat it, you'll get the bowl back just like any other stew, and it does stack. The next thing are potatoes on a stick. Potatoes on a stick are just an in-joke in the mod. So you can see that they recover 4 haunches and, 6.5 saturation. But when you eat one, it'll actually give you the stick back. You'll only be eating the potato that is on the stick. And you get the stick back. And the candy cane is not really worth going over. If you want one that is just 4 sugar and some red dye, and you get 8 candy canes. Yeah, and those are all of the food items. for the actual player. There are 2 other food items, technically, called the Summon Kitty, used by 1 gem, 2 fish of any type, and string. And bam, you get a Summon Kitty. Same with the Summon Puppy, which is 2 pieces of any meat, 2 pieces of leather, and any gem. And you get Summon Puppy. And what they'll do for you is they'll immediately summon a tamed dog for you, or a tamed cat for you. And yeah, they'll just do their thing. Sit. Sit. And yeah, if you want to go around hunting in caves or in the forest or somewhere and you want a pack of dogs, that's a very easy way to get those dogs. Oh, boom, there we go. Don't know when I got that, but I was trying to get the soul gem over here for this rabbit. So the soul gem for the rabbit is... actually, I guess soul gems in general I should go over. So the soul gems can drop from anything, including plants. So there is a potato soul gem, there's a wheat soul gem, and may as well just go over all souls in general. So soul gem sheep, trader llama, magma cube, ghasts. Yeah, you can get a soul gem from pretty much everything. What they used to be used for is you can combine them with a soul shell, and the soul shell is just made with a diamond surrounded by glass. And you used to be able to make upgrades for your tools for silenced gems using these soul shells. That is no longer the case with silenced gems by itself. So yeah, the soul shells and the soul gems basically have no use anymore, with the exception of soul urns. So soul urns are the next thing that we're going to be going over. With 1 soul gem, 1 regular gem, and 7 pieces of terracotta, you get a shulker box. And yeah, they are that cheap. I'm just going to give myself the terracotta. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, when you're making a soul gem, I may as well just give myself some green terracotta or some pink terracotta and more soul gems. Alright, so I'm going to give myself wolf soul gems, and I already have Heliodor somewhere. Here we go. So when you're making a soul urn, it's just 7 pieces of terracotta, a soul gem, and a regular gem. And bam, you'll have a soul urn. I'm going to place this here and talk about it a little bit later. If you look at it, you'll see that it is made out of the red terracotta, and in the center is the Heliodor gem. That actually doesn't mean anything. I'm going to make green, put the Heliodor there, and the soul gem, and now I have a green soul gem with a Heliodor gem in there. I'm going to give myself another type of gem, like a ruby. Here's my rubies. And using pink terracotta, I'm going to make 2 soul urns. The type of soul you use doesn't matter in the slightest. So I'm going to put down this pink and access it. You access it by right-clicking, and you can put in anything you want. Now, even though that this was made with pink terracotta and the ruby gem, they are not linked. You just have a lot of combinations for kind of like how you can color different shulker boxes to denote what they're actually, what you want to use them for. And it's the same thing with the soul urn. So I can have as many pink soul urns with ruby gems in the center as I want, and they are in no way, shape, or form linked. Another cool feature of them is when they are open like this and you close them by shift right-clicking, but you can throw an item in. Come on. There we go. So you can throw an item in whenever they're open, and they'll go right in. So they act like a hopper in that respect. They won't distribute to anything above or below, below it or on the sides of it, but whenever it's open, you can just drop things down into the mouth of the urn, and they will get inserted. Now, if you want to break these, I've gone through and emptied them. I may as well just I'll throw the rabbit hide in there and the rabbit meat in there. But since they're open right now, if I break them, I'll get the closed version of it. If I put them in a crafting table, then I'll have an open version of it, which means no matter what, it will always be open. You can see that the lid is completely removed from the sprite of this. So no matter what, this is always going to be open. I can always throw things into it, and yeah, it's that's just how those soul urns work. Oh, and opening it, you can see the raw rabbit is still there. If I want the lid back, all you have to do is put it back in a crafting table and you'll get the lid back. No problem there. Place it back down again. And yeah, that is exactly how they work. They're essentially very early game shulker boxes, and in my opinion, they're better than shulker boxes. Incredibly cheap, only requiring you to put in the effort to get a soul gem. And soul gems, while rare, while soul gems are rare, they're really, you'll find that you'll be swimming in them, especially on your early farms or your early cow farms, chicken farms, whatever. You'll find that you'll have more soul gems than you think you will. And by the time you're hardcore mining, you should have more than enough soul urns to store everything, really. So, yeah, that is how soul urns work. I'm going to make one more soul urn. It's green with a ruby gem on it. And the reason why I want to make it is because if you hold control, you'll see that there are upgrades that could possibly be put on this. Those upgrades are right here. The extended storage soul urn upgrade is not implemented yet. You see that there's no recipe for it. And you know what? I actually haven't tried. Even though there's no recipe, there may be some functionality. But you also have a vacuum upgrade, which requires a token enchanter, and a planter soul upgrade, which also requires the token enchanter. I will get into those upgrades when I get to token enchanting. But what these upgrades do, I'm just going to give myself them. If you add the vacuum soul urn upgrade to it, then hold control, you'll see that it has the vacuum upgrade. And place it down. Whenever you throw an item at the soul urn, you see that nothing happens. However, once I open it up, you see that it starts vacuuming the item towards it. It may take a while in order for it to pathfind properly, but that is what the vacuum does. Whenever the soul urn is open, it will find the soul urn and just automatically input the item into it. It's actually really hypnotizing to look at. But yeah, that is what the vacuum upgrade does. I cannot figure out what the planter soul urn upgrade does. What it makes it seem like it could do is that it can hold flowers, or that it will provide a light level when supplied with a Glowrose. But that isn't the case. So yeah, I'm still investigating what it does. And if I figure out what it does, I'll throw it up here on text, or put in the comments of this video, I'll just put down what it does. And then the extended storage. Let's see what that does. Hopefully it doesn't crash the game. Extra storage. Nope, no difference. Alright, so what this is probably just a future upgrade. And when you first create a soul urn, it's probably only going to be 3 rows. And the extended storage will make it the 6 rows that you're currently seeing. So this is probably future, and I can't find any other documentation than that. But that is the completion of soul urns. In the same vein as the soul urns, we also have 2 different storage items. One for glow roses, which requires some sugarcane, and the other one for gems, which requires some wool. And but first, in order to make those things, we have to make some gilded string. So gilded string, as you can see, is just gold nuggets, string, and more gold nuggets. And bam, get some gilded string. Now once you have that gilded string, just put it over here at the top, and then with a gem in the center and wool down at the bottom, you'll make a gem bag. So it stores gems, vanilla, and modded. That's all well and good. But it can be used with any sort of wool. It doesn't really matter what color it is. It cannot be used with fluffy puff blocks, however. You have to use the wool. So I'm going to make the gem bag, and then I'm going to make, using a Glowrose and some sugar cane, make a Glowrose basket. And as it says right there in the tooltip, it stores glow roses. So it's just a way to keep your inventory from getting cluttered. Now with this gem bag, I'm going to open it. I can store these rubies and these Heliodor in here, as well as I'm going to diamond. So I'm going to give myself some diamonds, and vanilla diamonds and emeralds can also go in here. Unfortunately, because it is a gem bag, iron cannot go in here. Neither can gem ore. It has to be the gem itself that goes in there. So yeah, it's a really handy way, especially if you want your gems with easy access. And yeah, the Glowrose basket, like I said, it speaks for itself. But those are your 3 storage options that you have in the mod. You can put the gem bag and the Glowrose basket inside your soul urn as an extra tier of storage, so you don't really have to worry about that either. You can carry your soul urn around, and whenever you get a new gem, bam, put it in your gem bag. Keep your inventory less cluttered. Next thing that we're going to create is Glowrose Fertilizer, which is just chaos crystals surrounded by bone meal, and you get 4 for your trouble. Now, these things were pretty useful in previous versions. They were pretty useful in other versions of Silence Gems because when you put it down, it was a way to get more dye. So even though it is random as you're using it, I could still use the Glowrose Fertilizer, break everything, and I have an easy way to get dye, especially if I wasn't near a flower forest or if dye was harder to come by. That's no longer the case. Since Glowroses only serve as a light source now, the usefulness of the Glowrose Fertilizer is diminished, but it is still an easy way, and relatively cheap considering how often you'll find the Chaos Ore, to get yourself some extra Glowroses. But yeah, that's Glowrose Fertilizer. That's really all there is to it. And there we have it. With that, everything basic in Silence Gems is taken care of. The only remaining items require some sort of advanced mechanic, and that requires breaking into the Chaos system. So in the next episode, I'm going to be going over Chaos. As a brief prelude to that, the way that Chaos used to work is scattered throughout the world there were Chaos nodes, and you can see them floating in the distance. They hovered quite a ways off the air, or off the ground, and as you stood next to them, you would get filled with Chaos, and there were lightning bolts directly above your hunger gauge, and that denoted how much Chaos you were filled with. The Chaos applied to many different items, but yeah, that is a completely different system now, and I'm going to cover it all, as well as the systems that can increase Chaos or decrease Chaos in the next episode. But with that, I am Kelly Engineering. I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.